to somebody who knows. We're going to talk now to a guy called Luke Sharman, and for 2021 until 2023, so for a couple of years, we're not going to name the hotels, but they are Norfolk-based hotels. He worked in 2 of them. So thanks for joining us, Luke.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
Now, tell us about what it was like. You were, as I understand it, you were like a night porter, maintenance man, but you spent a lot of time standing in during the days because of staff shortages?
Yeah, as with a lot of the hotels, they go through staff. A lot of staff come, they get treated disrespected, you know, obviously by the residents. They leave very quickly. Spending their nights and days, I got to see everything that went on. Obviously, you get to hear everything that goes on, and the stories that people don't realise is everyone thinks that these places are filled with people that are seeking safety. They're not. That's just not how it is. The majority of them are just they're not nice people. It's, you know, it's, some people say it's not a fair thing to say, but it is. It's the truth, and that's what people need to know.
So did they, were they aggressive towards the staff? When you say they're not nice people, what do you actually mean?
Yeah, so on one occasion, there was a time where the food that was on offer, one of the residents didn't like it, and they actually assaulted a member of security just because they didn't like the food that was on offer. Because they didn't
like the free food?
Yeah, correct. Yep.
And I mean, can they speak English?
Some of them can speak very little English. The majority of them speak no English, so trying to speak to them and trying to reason with them is just impossible. Yeah, it makes it very difficult. You know, how can these people integrate with us if they can't speak our language? It's just never going to happen.
And so is it behind these closed doors that we never get to see, that you used to work in, is there a lot of tension between the asylum seekers and the staff?
Yeah, there is. A lot of staff, they felt, you know, when they're at work, they felt on edge. They felt as if they, I don't know, you know, a place of work should be like a second home in a sort of sense, and they weren't. They'd go to work and they'd be constantly looking around them. They'd be constantly listening to what people are saying, because unfortunately, you don't know what these people are capable of.
And what do they get up to? I mean, we know that they're not allowed to work, so we always read stories and we hear stories of them just milling around all day, causing potentially trouble. But what you know, as someone who worked behind the closed doors, what do they get up to most of the time?
I'll be totally honest, the majority of them, they do just sit there watching the free TVs, eating the free food on their free phones. But unfortunately, there is a large majority as well that they'd go out and they work for companies such as Just Eat and Deliveroo. All the bikes and stuff are stored around the back. So, you know, they're not supposed to be here working. They've got no paperwork. They've got no identity, no photo ID, nothing. So what people can't get their head round is how are they getting these jobs in the first place.
So, yeah, you witnessed this there, because this story, of course, is flared up in the last couple of weeks, because the Sun did a bit of investigation. But you saw that when you were working at these places, the Deliveroo bikes all around the back, yeah?
Yeah, there was a couple of lads, they were working cash in hand at a, I believe it was a pizza and kebab shop just down the road from the hotel I was at. They'd go out each night, they'd come back 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, being night porter, I was the one to let them in. Yeah. So, yeah, it was a regular thing.
And, I mean, how did you personally get on with most of the migrants?
I'll be honest, the majority of them you could get on with. You could be, you know, as to say, civil with them, and sometimes you could have a laugh with them. But if there was a problem to arise, you'll find that all of them sort of turn as one. So if you've got one person, you know, they'll go into what's called a common room, which is where they all sit, and then obviously they'll all discuss it, and then within 10, 15 minutes, you've got loads of them all shouting at you, and yeah.
Right, and I was just telling this story before you came on, Luke, but I know that you said that when the asylum seekers turn up at the hotels that you worked at, their first difficult choice was to choose between an iPhone or a Samsung. They were offered two types of mobile phones, right?
Essentially, yeah. Yeah, they get given a cash allowance. That was £50 a week when I worked there, but I've now been told that apparently it's gone up to £70 a week. You know, there's pensioners that are struggling to feed themselves, and they're struggling to heat their homes through the winter, and these people are just being given money to do absolutely nothing.
So they get free phones, 50 quid a week, 70 maybe now. I know it was 50 because that's the social security, that's the benefit money that they do get. God knows why, but they do. And you had regular visits from doctors and nurses from NHS visits?
They had NHS and dentists in. NHS were there pretty much every day, and dentists sort of come in once, twice a week.
Really?
Yeah, they'd get an appointment quicker than what me and you could. So
What, so they come in and get their teeth done and their health checks?
yeah.
Unbelievable. And
Yeah, it really is.
were you responsible, because there are room searches, aren't there? Were you responsible for them?
I wasn't. No, that was down to security and housekeeping. There was one occasion, I'm pretty sure that you've probably seen the video, where I discussed it. Housekeeping went into a room and they found one of our own knives from our own kitchens under one of the pillows. Now, there was either two ways that could have been retrieved, and that is through security, because they're the only people that had access to the kitchens other than us. Or one of them has gone into the kitchen themselves, helped themselves to the knife, and taken it back upstairs.
And the room searches, they find drugs?
Yes, yeah, there was multiple times that there was cocaine and cannabis found in the rooms. One point, there was enough to say that they think they're involved in the supply.
So these people, I mean, if they're supplying that, they're dealing. I mean, that's a dreadful story. But even if they're not dealing, they're sitting around watching telly, eating free food, using their free phones, 70 quid a week, taking coke.
Yeah, and the funniest thing is that 50 or 70 pound a week is probably what's paying for the coke. So when you pay your taxes and every other person in this country pay their taxes, you're essentially putting sniff up immigrants' noses.
Now, you're obviously made of stern stuff, Luke, and you stuck it out for a couple of years. But you said earlier that there's a big high staff turnover. That's because presumably a lot of workers found it quite traumatic.
Yeah, they'd normally be there for 2-3 weeks. Then they decide that they didn't want to carry on anymore. So then obviously, whilst they were looking for more staff to cover, which was difficult just to get people into interview. So yeah, we had to cover it all, and it was a lot of stress. It was a hell of a lot of stress when I worked there. I'll be honest, I did make myself rather ill at one point, and that's what led up to me quitting. So
you did it for a couple of years. You changed hotels at some point halfway through that time.
Yeah, so I was working between the two hotels. I was doing more at one than the other.
Oh, I see. So your job entailed both of the hotels, yeah?
Yes. They're owned by the same people, so obviously it was basically shift shared across both wherever they needed the staff more, essentially. And
when you were doing, you were mainly a night watchman kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
What activity did you see at nights? I mean, was there much going on?
Some nights be very quiet. Other nights you'll have people going in and out the front door at 1-2 o'clock in the morning. Where these people are going, no one quite knew. Security never seemed to challenge them, even though security was supposed to. But another problem I found in these hotels is that the security are very friendly with the migrants, and as I'm sure you've seen on many of the videos, as of other people, they speak as good as English as some of the immigrants in most of these hotels.
Mm-hmm. During the day, then, I mean, they just sit around watching telly, eating free food. I mean, do they have any sense of purpose? I mean, is that it?
No. I mean, migration, that's been a good thing for the UK for many, many years. But the problem is now it's gone to a point where everyone's just looking for a free ride. Because, they get handed everything they could ever want as soon as they step on the shore. So for them to just get on a boat for a few hours, risk a rough ride across the waters to then arrive into absolute pleasure, what some people would beg for. It's just disgusting, really. And
you said that after a couple of years of this that the stress got to you. Tell us about, I mean, what was the stress like? What was causing it? Just never quite knowing what these people might get up to?
Essentially, yeah. When you hear the story, obviously, of one of our own knives in the room, what was the purpose for them taking that knife in the first place? You don't know whether they were planning to attack a member of security, a member of housekeeping the next time they tried to clean the room. You know, essentially you're in a very dangerous position because no one knows who these people are and no one knows what these people are capable of.
And you said that what one time somebody didn't like the free food they were offered and kicked off and attacked one of the members of staff?
They did, yeah. They assaulted a member of security, just simply because they didn't like what was on offer for food.
Unbelievable. And what about the local community? Did you talk to people from the local community who were concerned about the asylum seeker hotels in their midst?
Not at the time. I'll be honest, when I worked there was very little going on regarding the hotels that I was working at. So it was all, you know, everything was kept very quiet. A lot of people wasn't actually aware that these hotels house these people, which is, again, another massive problem. There's communities where these hotels are people, there could be 100, 200 people that no one's got absolutely any record of, and they're walking around, you know, willy-nilly doing as they please. I'm
guessing that that you weren't exactly paid a fortune to work at these places?
No, it was minimum wage.
For everybody, yeah?
Yeah.
Did the hotels that you worked in, do they have swimming pools, anything like that?
No, they didn't, no.
But would you, what would you rate them as? 3-star, something like that?
Yeah, probably 3-4 star. I mean, they had pool table. They all had brand new TVs in their rooms. All got all their bedding replaced once a week. So, you know,
they had brand new TVs in their rooms. Yeah.
Yeah. If a TV went wrong, normally within 24 hours, they'd have, you know, a replacement up on their wall.
Unbelievable. And these companies that take over the hotels, I mean, what do they do to the hotels when they get hold of them? I mean, presumably. I mean, I've read they get rid of all the existing staff and replace them with cheaper workers.
That didn't happen with us. Like I said in one of my videos, when I first started there, it was open to the general public, and obviously they accepted the contracts whilst I was there. And I had a newborn baby on the way, so at the time I couldn't risk to lose the job. So in a way, I felt I had no way to stay on.
Right.
So I did, and then eventually I started my own business and I left.
And did you feel threatened by these people? Did anybody ever threaten you personally?
Personally, I never got threatened, no. But there is just sort of an atmosphere when you walk into them places.
Yeah, and the asylum seekers who are in these hotels, or in your experience, I mean, did they sort of feel like they'd be there forever, or what were their plans as far as you could work out?
To be honest, I think a lot of them had hoped that they weren't going to be there long. But in the time I was there was probably only, I don't know, 5-10 people that had come and gone, which, you know, is a very small majority. So that means that they say that they're housing these people. They're housing them very slowly, which brings a question as to where is all the housing going, because the people of our own country can't seem to get housed.
Yeah, we've just been talking about that. We've just been talking about.
I was watching.
So the asylum seekers in the hotels that you worked at, your impression was that most of them just saw it as the long haul. They were just going to stay living there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I'd love to go into one of them hotels. You know, I've even made jokes about buying myself a boat, chucking my phone and my ID in the water, doing a ring round, and, you know, getting myself a 5-star accommodation.
That's not a bad thought. And in terms of, you know, you said that there was a big high staff turnover, a lot of staff felt threatened, presumably especially women. Did the company do anything about that? Did they try and sort of make sure everybody was okay, or did they just let you get on with it?
No, to be honest, they didn't really care if someone said they quit it. So, oh well, you know, work your notice and off you go, sort of thing.
And those hotels you worked at, as I say, we don't want to name for legal reasons, but they're in Norfolk. Are they still migrant hotels? They still asylum seeker hotels?
Yes, correct, they are.
And are there many generally up there? Because we were doing, we did a story last night that there was a bit of trouble in Dis. There was a protest there. That's in Norfolk, isn't it?
Yeah, I was at the protest in Dis. Out of the two held hotels, there's 170 in one, and there's roughly about 80 in the other.
Well, listen, Luke, you're out there now. You're running your own business. All going well?
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely smashing out of the park. So yeah,
Oh, good, good. Well, listen, I'm glad that you found gainful employment and you're enjoying it. And listen, we'll keep in touch. And thank you
yeah,
very much
definitely.
for your time. Fascinating stuff. Thank you so much.